Aloha class, sorry about the no sound in the other video. So I wanted to redo 8-1, sorry, not that one. 8-1 pungent sound divers, and so we talk about a static budget. So we make a static budget that is for planning and it doesn't change, but the flexible budget will change based on what actually happens, the actual number of units that we actually sell. And so you can see this budget has a Q here. Q is our quantity for 100, and then $365 times by Q, so this must be our selling price. And we can see this budget here. The best thing to do with these budgets is to make sure that you refer to the cell with Q in it. If it has a Q, you should refer to this specific cell in Excel because when you change this quantity, everything will be adjusted for your whole entire budget, right? And so what if it was actually 105? So remember, if this is 365, that would be a fixed cost, right? And then we want to refer to this cell 100 right here, and that can give us our answer. And we can even call this cell the quantity. Right, so every time I see a Q, and the numbers that are hard-coded or fixed, I can just type those in. And then be careful with your parentheses. I want to do 125 times it by the quantity, but I'm not going to type in 100. I don't want to hard code that because that number quantity could change. And so I'll refer to this quantity, or I could even type in quantity, right? And then for the supplies, I do $3 times by quantity. Excel already recognizes that I've named that cell, and that would be 100. And so this is really useful as we begin to change the quantity and adjust it to what actually happened, right? When I adjust it to what actually happened, 105, everything changes and my whole entire statement will change with it. Even the take two says what happens if there was 110. You could change it and everything would change and you wouldn't have to worry about readjusting your numbers that you've hard-coded. So that's what's useful for a flexible budget. For 8-2, right, so I have these variances in here. I'll take those out so we can explain them, right? Same thing over here. You can see I will refer to C4, or I could do C4 as quantity, right? Quantity. Sorry, noisy outside. Oh, I can't name it quantity because I already have a quantity. Maybe a quantity 1 or 8-2 because it's 8-2. 8-2, right? So I could do $4 times it by quantity 8-2, right? And then I would continue on, or refer to cell C4, 0.5 times it by 8,000. So remember, I'm not typing 8,000, I'm just referring to it. And then 32,000, it was just a fixed cost, so I could just write in 32,000 for my flexible budget. And then the problem gave you this formula, and we typed this out, and then we compared it over here, compared it to these actual numbers, and then prepare a report showing the revenue and spending variances for August. And so over here I expected that I was going to make $32,000, but I actually made $35,200. So what can happen? Why would I just make more money, right? And so the reason given is that a variety of reasons could happen. Change in selling price. So change in selling price, maybe we have markups, we have more demand for our product, and so might as well charge more if the customers really want this product and have a markup on our product. Maybe we're selling products that are priced more, so the product mix is different. Other factors could be the amount of discounts given, poor accounting controls, and so on. So over here, this one minus this one, right? 3,200 would be favorable because I'm making more than I'm expecting to make, right? So this is a favorable thing that I'm making more. Maybe I had more markups over here, right? And then packing supplies, $200, right? So I would do the flexible budget amount minus the actual budget, and I did exceed the expenses that I thought I was going to exceed. So remember, this is revenue, so it's a good thing to have more revenue, but these are expenses. It's a bad thing to have more expenses than anticipated. So that would be unfavorable over here. When I look at expenses over here, this one minus this one, I incurred less expenses than I thought I was going to incur. So maybe they gave me a discount, or the season gives you a discount because of a specific season. And so that's a favorable variance because it's an expense that was less than I anticipated. And then finally, net operating income is similar to the way that it acts like revenue. Is it a good thing that I had more actual net operating income than I expected? That would be a good thing. I would want to be happy. I'd be happy because I had more than I anticipated at the same number of pounds, from 8,000 pounds in my flexible budget and 8,000 in my actual, and I made more than I was expecting, so this would be a favorable variance over here. Okay, and then, so that's 8-2. Moving on to 8-3. So this is the kind of the information that they give you, that there's fixed expenses and then there's variable expenses, but there's two different cost drivers, right? And so they can have 80 customers. They're on a day tours on the coastal glaciers of Alaska, and the company publishes a schedule for the cruises, and this is their expenses. Vessel operating cost should be $5,200 per month, $480 per cruise, $2 per passenger. They average $25 per passenger. That would be similar to a sales price, so they're going to make $25 or sell a ticket that costs $25. And then they budget for July is based on 24 cruises and 1,400 passengers. So we're going to use this per cruise. They're going to have 24, so we would times the 24 cruises over here. And then they're going to have 1,400 passengers, so we would times 1,400 by each of these costs. And then I've already summed up these fixed costs for you. And we'll see how this works out for our planning budget. So $25 per customer. I would do $25, and there's 1,400 passengers, $35,000. The variable expenses, remember the vessel operation was $2 per person and $1, so that would be $2 times by 1,400 customers would be $2,800 and $1,400 over here, based on the passenger variable driver. And then per cruise, we said there's 24 cruises, times it by the cost per cruise, $480 per cruise, and then 24 cruises times it by 24 administrative costs per cruise. I've already summed up all the fixed expenses over here, and so that would give me a total fixed expenses and a net operating income. The homework solution